This is Richard with BWE Firearms, and this is a video that I had previously released on my channel on YouTube, and it's done very well for me. And I'm putting it up on Matt's channel, CRS Firearms, to keep him going while he is out of the game for a while, since all this crap went down with him. So I hope you enjoy the video, and go support Matt, like his page, or like his YouTube channel, like the video, subscribe to him. We've got a GoFundMe going for him, or I don't, but they have a GoFundMe going for him. We need to support him, because this crap the government is pulling goes a lot further than just the firearms community. So we need to support Matt all we can. Whatever you can do, do. You have a nice day. Bye. This is Richard with BWE Firearms. I don't know if you can see me in the camera. And today we're going to be going over Parkerizing this MK760 that I've fixed. And we're going to have Nick do most of the work, because my hands are screwed up. So follow along. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you learn something. All right, Nick.
Yes.
First thing we want to do, of course, is make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Nothing in the chamber, nothing there, nothing there. Let the bolt go home.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back, and Nick is going to load some parts into the sandblaster and start blasting. Smile for the camera. It's going to get real noisy in here for a second. Just getting used to the gloves. All right, Nick got everything blasted. Nicely, and now we'll Take that as soon as the Parkerizing tank heats up to 195 degrees. And we'll stick it in the Parkerizing tank. All right, we got some of the parts in, some in a basket. You can see them bubbling. And there's the receiver bubbling away. When it stops bubbling, that means it's done. You run the tanks at 195 degrees and you go from there. All right, these parts are done bubbling. So we can drain them off a little bit. Put them in a cold water tank. Let me grab the receiver and see if I can do this without dropping it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot. Hot, hot, hot. Drop that in there, let that cool for a minute. Now once those are cool, we're going to rinse them off. And because this gun is getting painted, some of the parts we will spray down with WD-40 to displace the water. Some of the parts we will blow dry with the compressed air and then stick in the drying box, where we'll let it sit overnight and kind of, it's nice and warm in there, so the water will, any water left will heat out, not rust the part, and then we can paint them. If you look at, if this receiver is cool enough, yes it is. If you look at this weld on this trunnion, they use stainless rod to weld that. That's why it didn't parkerize, because they used stainless rod like a bunch of Nimrods. But since this gun is being painted, that won't matter terribly. But we'll clean this off. And yeah, we'll just take an ugly old brush. You can always go steal your wife's toothbrush. She won't mind. Just make sure you put it back before she notices. Right, Nick?
I'm not saying a word.
You don't think, you think Mom would mind?
Kind of.
Think she'd probably kick my ass?
Yeah, probably.
But you just get all that residue that's sitting there off.
Be very thorough.
Be very thorough. We'll let that sit there. Now we can get some of these off. These shouldn't be bad. And some of these will get oiled because they're not getting painted. Some will not. I think a lot of these are going to get oiled. That'll get painted. I think we're going to leave that non-painted. I'm just going to set that there. Let's blow these off. Look, I'm peeing.
Yeah, your parts are peeing.
My parts are peeing. I got pee-pee parts. And this, because it's a tubes. You want to try to get the WD-40. Slop them down and roll them around, and we want to make sure we get plenty of oil in that hole. Kind of get that water out of there. As you can see from the video, Parkerizing is not a hugely complex deal. Some things to go over with the blasting media. If you are not painting it, you can use glass bead. If you are painting it, you have to use aluminum oxide media, and it should be, I think it's between 80 and 120 grit aluminum oxide media. The reason for doing this is the glass bead, the surface of the glass bead kind of is nice rounded surfaces, where the aluminum oxide gives sharp edges on the surface. So the surface will be jagged. And that gives the paint a good mechanical bond to the finish. The solution I use is manganese phosphate finish. There is also zinc phosphate. I like the manganese. That is what the military, well, like on Uzis, that's what was called for on the blueprints for Uzis, was manganese phosphate. The zinc phosphate is more like the finish that they put on the M16s. It's a thicker finish. It's more of a grayish color. The manganese phosphate will run anywhere from like a light gray, like that color gray, to a dark charcoal, almost black gray. Went over the solution, and you can get the solution at a bunch of different places. Just shop around, they're all about the same. I've used a couple of different ones and really haven't noticed a difference. The solution lasts a long time. You need to run Parkerizing solution in stainless steel tanks. Do not run them in black oxide tanks. You'll screw everything up. Got to run them in stainless steel tanks. Has to be heated to 195 degrees. Green Parkerizing. There is no such thing as green Parkerize. You cannot Parkerize green. Parkerizing is gray. What gives Parkerizing the green color is being stored predominantly in cosmoline and then being put in non-air conditioned warehouses. So they get hot and the surface gets hot, and it's a reaction between the cosmoline and the heat. It actually turns the finish that green color. Now, when I was in gunsmith school, we had one of the guys who did some experimenting and was able to get Parkerized finishes to turn green quicker at a pretty good percentage. It wasn't 100%, but it was pretty good, and it was a matter of Parkerizing the parts, heating them up, putting them in water displacing oil, putting them back in the heat, heating them back up, putting them back in the water displacing oil, back and forth until it turned that green color, basically forcing it to turn green. But, don't call refinishing shops and gunsmith shops and say, I want green for Parkerizing, because 99% of the people aren't going to be able to do it. After you're done blasting, don't touch the finish, because you'll leave fingerprints in it. And then you pull it out of the Parkerizing tank and there's a freaking fingerprint in it. I hope this helped. Have a nice day. This is Richard with BWE Firearms, and I hope you like and enjoyed this video and learned something along the way. With this year, 2021, with me getting stage 4 colon cancer, diabetes, and neuropathy in my hands and feet. It's getting harder and harder to work. And I have come to realize my own mortality. Because of that, I realized that if I don't get this information out of my head and into videos or into other people's heads, I will take it to the grave with me, and that does nobody any good at all. If you would, please like, share, subscribe, and comment to the video. It helps me with the algorithms. And if you would like to support my efforts in doing these videos, please go to my website, bwefirearms.com, and in my shopping cart, I have an item in there where you can donate money to my efforts. And 97% of the money will go directly to me doing these videos. 3%, of course, will go to the credit card company. I will, take $1. I will take $1,000. Whatever you feel like donating, I would greatly appreciate it, and it will help me get this stuff done. You have a nice day, and we will see you in the next video.